The following may contain language which will be offensive to some people and inappropriate for children. The topics discussed may include drugs, alcohol, or be sexual in nature. This show is intended for mature audiences. Listener discretion is advised. I'm serious. It's dirty. Really, really dirty. Still here? Then pour your favorite beverage, sit back, and let's get this fucking show started.
Fantastic Forum, assemble! You're listening to Fantastic Forum, the premier show about comic books and your live weekly conversation about entertainment and geek culture. We are the Fantastic Forum, coming to you live and direct from Fantastic Forum Studios, Los Angeles. Hope you're having a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night, as the case may be, depending on where you are in the world. And if you're not, you should stick with us. We're going to help you take it up a notch. Yeah, the usual suspects in the building. First, he is our riddle. Inside of an enigma, trapped in Chinese finger cuffs. You don't know him. You love him anyway. He's our silent assassin, Jay.
Hey, what's up?
Next, he's the backbone, the pillar, the strength of Fantastic Forum, our nigh invulnerable brawler and resident strongman, currently taking a shower, Moses.
Is that me?
Yeah, that's absolutely you.
Yeah, right.
That's absolutely you. But it's okay. Like cleanliness is next to godliness, right? Uh-oh. He's cussing silently. Uh-oh.
Good, so he can do that in peace.
Yeah. Yeah. For real. And my name is Lawrence Young. They call me Mayor Young. Welcome to Fantastic Forum. Despite what it looks like so far, we have a great show for you today. We promise. We are going to be talking to you all about Abattoir, the comic book. Then we're going to be talking to you all about Abattoir, the movie. And then we're going to be talking about Project Patron. And just for those of you that are like, when did Mayor Young get a speech impediment? I'm not saying avatar. I am, in fact, saying abattoir, which I did not know was a word until we did this. Apparently, it's another name for slaughterhouse. I did not know that. It's derived from the French. So you know. I just want to make sure that I put that out there in case there were other people out there like myself that, apparently don't read enough that didn't know abattoir was a word. When the rest of the forum, you all seem to feel like, or seem to know, like, be very familiar with this word. I don't know if I don't watch enough horror movies or if I just don't eat enough pig. I don't know what it is. Like, why do you know what abattoirs were, Jay? But I did.
Because I looked it up.
Okay, that's
I looked it up.
That's absolutely fair. I appreciate that. I don't know if Mo looks like he's still on mute. He might be figuring his stuff out, but I'll definitely we'll talk to him about it. Like we got all show to talk about Abattoir. And there you are. Say, hey Mo, you sound huh?
It still sound. You still hear the background noise?
No, Moses, you sound crystal clear. Like you might actually sound the best you've ever sounded. Like, and I'm mad at you for being that good at figuring out engineering stuff that quickly. Like, you were like, hold on, I'm a mute since it sounded like rain. And then came back, and this will sound like he changed studios. Like, he did some soundproofing. Like, I'm very angry at the level of proficiency you have right now, Moses.
Well, look, I should have the fucking Windows 10 should have the proficiency. They ruined all my shit. It decided to update without my consent. Right when I turned on my computer, and then all my settings were all fucked up.
I'm sorry, buddy.
It erased the driver for my soundboard and my microphone and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is giving you just a very, very slight echo, but that's okay. Don't worry about it,
Man.
Moses. No, don't, Moses. Moses, don't mute, Moses. You stay on the show on Holy Beelzebub. You
And
stay.
it's pronounced abattoir.
I think if you're French, but it's one of those words that
It's
we
a French
co-opted.
word.
It was
It's not
co-opted.
somebody's name. It's not somebody's name. It's abattoir.
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 Abattoir. Abattoir. You have to say it with like you're annoyed.
I am annoyed.
No, not you. I'm talking about like the rest of us. We know you're annoyed.
The royal you?
Right. Exactly. Ladies and gentlemen, special invited guest, the fourth member of Fantastic Forum. He is our intrepid senior reporter. He's next in line for the Cal. He's our resident Dark Knight detective. It's Oz. What up, Oz?
I remember the Noid.
Listen, I'm mad at Moses' proficiency, and I'm mad at the level of corniness Oz manages to like bring into things like almost instantaneously. It's damn near a superpower in and of itself. It's okay. It's okay. Oh, heck.
In the chat says abattoir.
Abattoir.
Yeah, that's how you say it.
It's I every time I say it, I feel like I sound like a 3-year-old that like loves blue people. Like, you know.
Y'all need to stop before you cast something.
Wait, what? Before we cast something? it's one of those magic words. There it is.
Yeah.
It does sound like Zatanna saying something backwards. I agree with that. Like, I don't know what it is she's trying to say, but
She's saying
the
what
spell
ABBA?
worked. Say what?
She's saying what ABBA backwards.
What ABBA? Oh, there it is. That's like when it's like her, like No More Mutants. Like, what
Yeah.
ABBA? And they just disappear.
The band disappears.
Is ABBA still around?
I think the singer just had a birthday like 3 days ago.
Okay.
The female
All right.
singer.
Well, there you go.
But I don't know if they're still around.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they all sang.
Yeah, that's why I said the female singer.
Yeah, there were two.
Right.
Oh.
2 guys, 2 girls, and both of the girls sang.
Yeah, the girls are twins, so
Different song.
his statement's still correct.
But look, that doesn't mean they're still together.
No,
Hey,
it's terrifying that we don't know which one you're talking about.
The one that had a birthday.
Singers.
The one that had a birthday, exactly.
Yeah.
Jay needs to brush up on his ABBA singers' birthdays,
Oh,
but
no. I
need to brush up.
I'm totally
All right.
knowing the few songs that I know.
So, before we get into all this, we want to make sure that we thank Mr. Scott Rubin, who without him, this show wouldn't be possible. Thanks, Scott. Hope you're doing well, man. And we want to go ahead and tell you how it is you can get down with the Fantastic Forum. So,
Look,
we can't do that. We got to do it manually.
Yeah.
The intern walked out yet again.
The intern was angrier than I was at Windows 10 update.
I believe it. That makes sense. Intern can't do no work.
I have a question.
Question. Oh, look, the floor recognizes the gentleman from Illinois.
It's pronounced Illinois.
Illinois.
Why is Mo in 4:3 aspect ratio? Is this the Snyder mode?
Most
It's not-
activated Snyder cut.
It's technically not 4:3. It's what is it? 19:9 instead of 16:9. But this is Canon EOS webcam utility does this for whatever reason. I don't know why they don't just give you full 16:9. I know technically why they do it, but they could still do 16:9 at 570p. Like, yeah, but that's
Lawrence
just,
has no idea what you're saying. Look at him. He thinks
know.
you're casting another spell.
I'm surprised you asked it now because I've been like this for the last 3-4 months.
I know, but it just bugged me because I've been staring at your face for like an hour. Trying to make your lips pretty.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Look,
Whoa.
that's a lie because you don't have to try to do that.
I was about to say, listen, I'm pretty sure Oz is making a pass at you, Mo.
And everybody
I'm not
knows
saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying be aware.
my lips are pretty no matter what. He don't need to do nothing to it.
Oh, okay.
Want to get in on the action? Call Fantastic Forum on Skype and join the fun. Too shy to call in? That's okay. You can join the Discord chat room available at
FantasticForum.live.
Join the party. You know you want to.
Thank you, intern. You're moving on up. You came through in the clutch. Appreciate you. All right.
He knew exactly when to come in.
Whoa. I don't know, like something about the tone.
Like, it doesn't work when you do it, Larry. Come on. She
Something about the tone.
came in right at the moment where it was the funniest. She knew what to do. Like, it doesn't work. You can't accuse people of sex. Everybody knows you're already the fucking philanderer of the office. So
Is that what they know?
Yeah, don't
Oh,
try to pass the
geez.
buck to us.
Oh, I did not realize. Okay. Well, gents, let's go ahead and just get to it, man. Let's start with Abattoir. The
Movie
comic.
or comic? Comic?
The comic. Abattoir. The
Okay.
comic. So,
Comic book
Review.
comic book
Like
review.
well, not like that, but like
Don't we have a horror thing?
for comic. Yeah, but that thing was like 2 minutes long, and not for comics. It was for movies.
Okay.
it's 2 minutes long. Why is it
They're literally all the same length.
You know, let's see.
I would know. I made them.
Scary
Comic book
review. Scary
comic book
like review. Well, not like that, but like
Feels appropriate.
we also have a horror themed logo for the corner up here that we never use.
Oh, yeah, is that might be in the brand, Jay. It might be there. You might be able to switch it.
I'm looking.
I guess it does feel appropriate. I don't know. I may not have put it in there.
You
I
didn't
think,
have.
I think there's actually like 4.
Yeah, there's 4 different ones depending on which horror one shot we do. Like they're
Oh,
color
wait.
coded to each one of us.
Well, I'm glad
we
we're
have the background one. We have the horror background, but we do not have the horror logo.
Wait, what? There's a.
I'm glad we're figuring all this out before we start streaming because it's gonna look amazing once we're on the air. I think they're gonna be surprised, like, they're like, whoa.
They're on it. I didn't. Why? So I didn't even know there was like different ones for each one of us. That's interesting. But okay. He said that there's a different horror logo for each, I guess, depending on which one of us is doing it. I don't know. I don't know how that works though.
There is.
I don't know.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I agree. Anyway.
One knew that.
I love it when Jay learns about the show.
Like I remember
Abattoir.
putting the pictures in the production text. Say, hey guys, we did this.
No, I remember the pictures, but I didn't know that they correlated or were supposed to correlate. I just knew they were different. I like them.
What's mine look like?
It's got like green blood.
Oh, nice.
That doesn't make any sense.
Why doesn't it?
It's zombie blood.
Joe likes green.
I like green. Like,
But-
I appreciate that.
That ain't blood, man. That's
But
relish.
it's also how they like censor.
Hey, are you blood shaming aliens or something?
That's what Jay does. He
I mean,
blood
humans
with
aren't doing
aliens.
it with blood.
In any case, Abattoir.
I love how this fool tried to get us back on track like he wasn't the one that derailed us. You see how he did that just now? How he, but he's right. Let's go. Look. Yes, who wants to talk about what the story of the Abattoir comic is? Or who can? How about that?
Look, I can tell you what issue 1's about.
That's fair. Look. You know what? I think go for it, Mo. Because if you can talk about issue 1, that sets at least the initial stage in regards to what the book's about.
Issue 1 talked about this a grisly murder that takes place and introduces this character, Jebediah Crone, who buys up these properties where all these murders happen, and they're trying to kind of figure out why he's trying to buy this house in his latest crime, and they kind of don't want to sell it to him right there because it's outside the protocol because of what happened and how you do things when you buy real estate. And it takes this creepy turn at the last page when he's having dinner with the real estate guy's little girl, and yeah, that's issue 1 in a nutshell.
I love it. I love how you made it. He's having dinner with the guy's little girl. Like, I mean, it's technically with his family. Like, the wife was there. She just went to get the door, right? I mean,
right, but I want I want people to click the affiliate link to go buy it and figure out exactly if what I said is true.
Oh, you're right. Let's lie to him.
No, I'm telling you what happened, but I'm leaving you wanting.
Got it. What were you gonna say, Jay?
No, I was gonna say from there it kind of goes into just the real estate agent starts investigating Crone, trying to figure out what his deal is as he slowly starts to succumb to madness.
Yeah. No, that pretty much hits the nail on the head. Mo, you read issue 1. Jay, did you read the whole series?
Yes.
Okay.
Oz, do we need to even ask?
Nah.
Listen, I wasn't gonna do it to him. I was gonna let him be like, "Hey, why didn't you ask me? I don't know." But
I was gonna wait for him to actually give insight that kind of makes sense.
Yeah,
and then realize he didn't read it.
Yeah, but Jay already knows I do that, so he's calling me out from the start.
One of the main characters of this book, well, the main character is the real estate agent, which I'm trying to think. His first name is super common, so I've forgotten it already. I feel like his
Rich.
Oh, Rich. There you go. Right. Rich,
when
like
you sell real estate, you become rich.
Right. So Rich is the main character, but Crone, Jebediah Crone is definitely like the foil throughout the comic series, and like Jay mentioned, the dude definitely has a descent into madness and kind of becomes fixated on Jebediah Crone, which fixated may not be the right word, just because usually when you talk about a fixation, there's usually not any good reason for that to happen. But no, there's a good reason for him to be fixated on this guy, and it's a strange kind of thing that's happening throughout this book. Let's start though with art. How did you all feel about the art? Why don't you talk about it, Moses?
I like the digital painting stuff. That's a style that I enjoy, but I feel here it could have been done a little better. I think there was something lost in the translation of the sketch to the coloring, to the inking. And I actually pulled some examples here. Let me see if I can share screen and let's see. So there's that. And like this right here. I don't know if you can see that.
Mm-hmm.
Right there. That is something that was throughout that just it kind of pulled me out of the experience. You know,
Are you talking
so
about like her forehead?
her face, the facial expressions, like I can tell they're angry, but they're trying to
Yeah.
draw the wrinkles, but they can't get the texture right, so it just looks like bad, like
Like
plastic
someone,
surgery, you know?
yeah, they crumpled up the page right there.
Yeah, they look like they should be called Jebediah Chrome. You know? And then there's another one here. Like that kid's supposed to be happy, and it looks like a plastic face with a fan inside. So, and
That
it's
looks
just
like that looks like the bad tattoo images that you see, like the
Right.
photo, the result.
yeah. And then it happens like it's one you have one bad panel, it's forgivable, but then the next panel it kind of happens again, and it's all look. I know it's not like in some panels like this one right here could be considered bad art. Here it's just the translation, the compression of drawing something bigger and having it be in the translated into a smaller format. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I
a
know
lot
exactly.
of that consistency. Like here, they did the brow wrinkles better. You know what I
Right.
mean? And then you look here, her face doesn't look like that. But it's just
Yeah.
smaller picture pulled out, and they rush those panels to like try to detail the other ones, but then the detailed ones don't do too good. And it's not even that it's bad, because the story does a good job of like wanting me to keep going. It just takes me out of that little scary comic book experience. When things
Right.
take you out, when you're trying to get scared or build that tension, little things like this that stick out at you can take you out. And I'm a person that things take me out. I don't know if it's like an ADD thing or what, but like I fixate on these things, and I'm kind of out.
Yeah. No, I feel exactly what you're saying, and it's definitely something that I noticed as well. And the I mean, I think the sad part about it is that, like you mentioned, like the art's not bad. It's just it has its better moments and its weaker moments. And another part of it that I noticed that I was like, it's unfortunate, is character consistency. Like, from panel to panel, characters don't look the same. And it's not like it's not so bad that you're like, who's this? Like, it's not like, oh, somebody new showed up. It's just one of those things where it's just like that guy, they look like two different people from one page to the next sometimes, or even from one panel to the next panel. So but I mean, I wouldn't knock the artist, I guess. It's just it very well could be like a time management thing.
A time management thing. I think more than anything that would be it, because he it's the same people doing other panels that look good, where they make with essentially correcting the mistakes they did 2 pages before. You know what I mean? So they can do it. It's just that what they chose to spend the time on is how I feel. And it doesn't even like, this would knock it off a point. It doesn't make it. There's comics we've read and we've reviewed where it's like, it just makes it like a bad experience. To like, the art just takes you out so much. And this one, I guess if it ruins the experience, it's only because they do a good job of like sucking me into these characters' like daily lives, even the minutia, just like the guy trying to get the other guy to go to the bar, you know, which is kudos to your boy Larry, Rob Levin.
Yeah, I did notice. It was Rob, and and he's has the writing credit with Troy Pateri, who also did letters.
Yeah, and if you don't know Rob Levin, you can find on there, do a deep dive in the rabbit hole. Here on YouTube, because we have an interview with Rob Levin from like 15 years ago.
Dude, it's insane. Like, I was like, it's so funny because when I saw his name in the book, I was like, oh man, where's Rob? Like, I'm like, I know he's still like, he's still doing plenty of stuff in the industry, but I'm like, man, like, I feel like that was somebody I should have kept in contact with. If I was still talking to him, I would be out playing dodgeball right now.
Right. That's what I was gonna say. It's like he's probably going to be a professional dodgeball player.
Yeah, exactly, man. Could have lost some of this weight a long time ago. Yeah. So, and also it's illustrated by Bing Cancino. Yeah, Cancino. I was gonna say casino, but there's an N there. Cancino. Created by Darren Lynn Bousman, concept by Michael Peterson, and colors by Andre Pervolkin. There you go. So
now, I noticed this stuff more now that you guys have mentioned it.
Mm-hmm.
But while I was reading, I did not really notice it that much.
Well, look, that's a good thing. That means that the story kind of pulled you in, huh?
Right. Mm-hmm. Like the characters in the story, I was really into it. So a lot of the art things you're saying, like I like the overall style of the art.
Right.
I thought it fit really well.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't really notice like all the minor things, or I won't say they're minor, but like some of the flaws I kind of missed or glanced over. Like I probably noticed them and then was just like, well, just kind of moved on.
Right.
And that's
like art and the colors. I thought the style and the colors I thought were really well done.
Yeah, that's kind of the point I was speaking to, where it's like, it's something that I end up focusing on, and it takes me out from the type of person I am. But if you pick up this book, especially if you buy it from our affiliate link, you're gonna enjoy it.
Yeah.
At least if you want. I can't speak to the other ones. What I can do is they did put time in drawing Jebediah Crone. There was no mistakes when they ever drew him.
That's true.
You look at all the covers that he's in and all the panels he's in. He looks on point, and we'll get to the point when we talk about it in the movie, because his transition from page to screen is eerie.
Yeah, and at the same time too, I will say that I like you basically said it, Mo, where you were talking about your own personal experience, and I will say that I noticed this stuff while I was reading. At the same time, I still felt like how Jay did, where it's like I was really intrigued by the story and I really wanted to see where it was going to go. And so, it kept me reading, and it wasn't like I was like, oh well, let me push through. I didn't feel like that at all. Like the story is really good, and I especially thought the dialogue was really good. Like I feel like when they talk about how to write a script and how to write dialogue and how you should like pepper in things to let people know, like basically the thing that I feel like there's a lot of information you get throughout this series, and in that first issue too, like especially I think that you get a lot of background on characters, but it's very well, like very subtly done. It's not exposition dumps or like strange things that someone says and you're like, why would you tell somebody that like it's like you're like because that happens. We've all read comic books where you're like, two people that know each other and it's like, okay, they're telling me this, they're not telling each other this. And
that's one of the criticisms I have a lot of newer movies, where it's like they tell you the story instead of showing you. And then I get mad when nothing happens. I'm just watching people walk. But then I remember, I was just thinking about the opposite of this in another movie. So,
But yeah, man, I just like, you learn a lot about like the different characters and like their personalities, some of their background and stuff like that, and and it's like I feel like the conversation those guys had at the bar felt very natural and very much like what two friends at a bar would sound like, but we learned about like their family lives. We learned about, you know, past career aspirations. We learned about like, you know, all like the relationship that they have with each other. Like, you know, we learned a lot. And even like the part where one thing that I was like, oh wow, that's really like, they're talking about this murder house, right? Because the two guys are real estate agents. They're talking about this murder house. And the friend is like, hey man, listen, I know you're trying to sell this murder house. Let's go to the murder house right now, man. We can go right now. I know it's late, but it only take a little, you know, a few minutes to walk through this murder house. He's like, I don't think there's any electricity, but you know, whatever, you know. And I'm sitting here like, man, what? This sounds like the worst idea in the world. Why would anybody go walk through the murder house at night with no electricity? And the guy's like, nah, I'm good. He's like, I gotta get home. He's like, you know, I'm trying to get home before my daughter falls asleep. I'm good. And I'm like, yeah, that's the right answer. I'm like, oh, thank God. And then he goes home and he sees his daughter, and you know, she's like putting together a puzzle and stuff. And she's like, hey, you know, he's like, hey, don't stay up too late. You gotta, you know, get up tomorrow morning and watch Saturday morning cartoons. And she's like, will you watch them with me? And he's like, oh, okay, I'll watch it with you. The daughter literally requests for him to watch Saturday morning cartoons, get up early and watch Saturday morning cartoons with her. And that's what prompts this fool to be like, hey man, you know what? I changed my mind. Come meet me at the murder house, goddamn. And I'm like, that's a great way to get these two dudes at the murder house. Because he's like, yeah, like he was going, we're gonna go in the morning. Why would we go tonight in the dark when we can go do the walkthrough tomorrow in the day? But now he has a reason why he can't go in the morning. So he's like, let's go tonight real quick. And he's like, bring a beer, because my wife. My wife. So, you know, and I'm just like, look, it's really well done, because there's no good reason to go to that place. And he creates a reason.
I'm slightly disappointed to know that you would not walk with me through a murder.
It's not you. Like, don't be disappointed. I'm not trying to walk with nobody through a murder house. And here's the messed up part: these fools are walking through the murder house, like when it's still like the murder scene is there. Like there's blood on the floor still. Like, what are you talking about? Like, first of all, I don't even think that's legal. But maybe it is. Maybe like the forensics team has been through there and everything already, and they're like, okay, we got it. You know, we'll leave it to you all to clean it up. And I'm like, is that how that works? Like do the police have people that do this?
The police don't clean it.
I know the police don't clean it, but don't they reference somebody? Like, it feels like I'm saying, huh?
That's an option. Like, you can clean it yourself, or you can hire a cleaning company.
Okay, so maybe they, you know, I don't have a lot of familiarity with murder scenes, so you know, thank goodness. So I don't know like what happens afterwards. I'm assuming police give somebody a heads up, like, hey, you can clean the place now.
If it's still an investigation, nobody can clean nothing.
Right, of course.
And then after that, you can clean it yourself, or like Joe said, hire somebody. And
I'm like, these fools.
What I do know is that when it's a suicide, it smells worse.
It smells or sells?
Smells worse.
Oh.
Like the smell penetrates the hazmat suit. Like it's bad.
Why do you know? Like how? Why? What is?
Don't. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, jeez.
If you want to know, you'd walk with us to murder houses,
right?
You don't. So
I thought you were gonna say, if you want to know, join our Patreon.
No, if you want to know, if you don't like to subscribe next week, I'll tell you how I know. Spoilers! I have a friend that he does that for a living.
I thought you were gonna say, like, if you just hit the super chat, we'll go ahead and wait. What is about to happen here, man? But anyway, it's
now
like
I feel like I failed. I should have said all of that.
You didn't read the comic, and you didn't say all of that.
I thought But I was like, man, these fools crossed like the police tape and everything. So I'm assuming they had keys. So, but at the same time, I don't even know if you would lock murder houses. Do you? I don't know. I would. Yeah. Oh, okay. Because I would think no one wants to go in the murder house.
Because some people want to walk through murder houses. I thought
Oh, I thought that was only your weird self. I didn't realize that was a thing.
That's what you said about Dancing Nemo.
That's what I did say. I did. You were right. You were right.
Apparently, I got my hand on the pulsing, throbbing.
You got your finger on the prostate of pop culture.
There you go. I popped the prostate of culture.
The messed up part is you could have said the pulsing Zemo, and that would have been enough. That feels like a euphemism all by itself. Like, ooh. It's like
that sounds like something my mother would say.
I don't know why that's true, but okay. But yeah, man. So yeah, they go into the murder house. That's where they meet Jebediah Crone for the first time, and that guy is creepy, man.
I love how he shows up and he's like, "Oh, hello."
Right. In the murder house. He just pops up behind these dudes in the murder house, and it's like, and
that's one of the things about this book where the art is kind of cinematic because it's created by Darren Lynn Bousman, who's a director, and who I'm not that much of a fan of, but I've seen every one of his movies, I think, and that's literally like one of his like moments. Like it's just a scary thing that's just, oh, hello. And as a movie, like I can see that working as a jump scare, and in the comic, it's it ain't quite work, but it was fun to experience. You know what I mean? Like I didn't jump, but
I mean it's eerie. Like it's just like, why would you do this? I guess is really the thing. Like why? Oh, let me see. I'm trying to see if I can pull it up real quick. Is that the right picture? That's the right picture, right? Oh, I guess I got to make it bigger. Dang.
That is that, but I think it's the picture before that, the panel before that.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah, but it is like it's like he's just over the shoulder, like, oh, hello.
Oh yeah.
It looks really creepy, but he's just saying, oh, hello. So like in the movie, like I can see that scaring the shit out of people in the theater, and then it's just him saying hello. And here it's just the odd looking picture where it looks all menacing, and he says, oh, hello. So it has a different effect, but it's enjoyable nonetheless.
This joint right here, there it is.
Yeah.
It's like, man, why are you in the murder house? Look, this fool's having a good time for a second. He was like, I'm good. It's like we were just.
He could have said, pardon me, one panel before that and not be scary. But then you see his face and he'd still be fucking scary.
It's like, if you don't get your crazy butt out of this murder house, and I don't understand it. I don't understand it at all. Like where he just pops in, and these two dudes are supposed to be like cool with it. And look, the messed up part is his buddy leaves him.
Yeah.
Look, because the dude messes around and is like Jebediah Crone's like, hey, you know what? This murder house is just my style. He's like, hey, you shouldn't be in here. It's like literally police tape and there's blood still. We're going to clean it and get it ready to show. He's like, actually, can you just show it to me now? And it's like, what? And his buddy was like, you know what? Hey, I'm going to let you handle this, And I'm like, dude, if you don't mess around and stick right next to me with this crazy dude in this murder house, like, come on. You're going to leave me? Like, oh.
It kind of reminds me of us at like Comic-Con or at a bar when Larry starts talking to that dude that used to produce that other show. You know who I'm talking about.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Like, oh, yeah. Larry's talking to his friend, and we just go smoke cigarettes or something.
And it's like, I don't want to be left with this guy. And it's like, funny. And not only do you know that I don't want to be left with this guy, but there's only like maybe like 2 people I don't want to be left with, and he happens to be one of them. It's like, man, just like help me. Sons of bitches. And that it's so crazy, man. Like I was just like, so the buddy leaves and he gives him the tour of the house, and the guy's like, listen, I need you to sell me this house like immediately. Like let's do the paperwork right now. And it's like he's like, how are we gonna do the paperwork right now? Like he's like, I'm in the murder. There's not even lights in here. You know, it's like it's crazy, man. It's a weird interaction, and it's eerie in and of itself. It's unsettling, just that alone. Like it's not even like he like threatened him or anything. It was just like he's just so insistent to buy the house that the people were murdered in, like right now, that it's like, my guy, like there's nothing good that could come from this. You know, so I don't know, man. It's wild. Like I was like, it made me decide not to become a real estate agent ever. I'm good. That job's too dangerous. You never know. Yeah. Now, in the rest of the comic, Joe, since you finished it, and Oz, since you finished it, just so you know, I did finish it too. Not like Oz though. like Joe did.
There's stuff that I wanted to get done before the show, and it impeded me from finishing the comic. But once I started looking at the covers, I was like, man, I want to read those. Now
that's Moses's tell when you know he's lying, when he starts using big words.
What, like
he was like, it impeded me. Moses don't talk like that. Moses don't talk like that.
Well, no, it impeded me means that like it let me, like it guided me, right?
You so silly. I'm so done. I'm so done with you for that. Let's go. Continue. What were you gonna ask?
Shit. The art, does it have the same issues that I was describing in issue 1 in the other ones? Not that it's a you know, it's a deal breaker, but I really enjoyed the covers.
The covers are great.
Yeah, like I almost wish the cover for like issue 3 was the cover of 1.
Look, I gotta go look at issue 3 cover.
I actually really like the issue 4 cover. Which is
the one? Okay, say again. Oh, right, the mosaic
one.
That's a really good one. I remember that one. Yeah. Yeah, that's nice. That's real nice.
Abattoir.
Which one was issue 3, Mo? What was the cover? What was that one?
It had a blue hue to it. I didn't put it in the sharing.
No, it's okay. I was asking you to describe it, not. Yeah, you don't. And I'm sure Joe will find it in a second. But you know, what, or maybe better, what would you like about it? Because
it was him holding a gun.
Yeah.
And in the weird house that's like decaying, and he's decaying. Yeah, there we go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But then the cover to issue 2 is really great too, where it's like
all the covers are good.
Yeah, it's just you're looking through a keyhole and he's like decaying more, but it kind of looks. Yeah.
The story, like I think the issues that you're talking about, Moses, I think what you get in issue 1 is consistent with what you get throughout every issue.
Yeah. No, and I mean, look, if you really want to know what kept me from reading it, the rest of it is I wanted to catch up on Resident Alien.
I'm not mad at that.
Like, even if I didn't have the audio issues, like the thing I was going to say when you introduced me was that my friends called me because I finally got to that point.
That's funny. Yeah. Like I was surprised by how the story resolves itself. Especially in relation to what I had seen in the movie, because I had read like half of the series, and then watch the movie because I was like, well, I got to make sure I at least watch this movie. And then I read the other half of the series. And so, I was like, because I wasn't certain I was gonna have enough time to like do it all. So I was like, let me read at least a chunk of the series, watch the movie, and then if I get enough time, I'll finish it. And so I did get enough time to be able to finish it, but it's like they definitely go. They're different. I guess is the best way to say it. But
isn't it supposed to be a prequel?
I don't know. Is it like is I don't know. Is it?
Because I thought. Say that again.
Oh, no, go ahead, man.
No, because when I was reading about this back when the movie was coming out, was saying that the comics were a prequel to the movie, and that it's like he wanted to create a universe.
I will say that having read the comic and having watched the movie, it doesn't feel like a prequel to me. I don't know if you feel differently, Jay. But
No, when I got to the end of the comic, I was like, I wish the movie had been the sequel to this.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Like focusing on the little girl, like that would have been an amazing story.
I agree.
But instead we got the movie.
Spoilers.
So
yeah. It's funny you say that because the comic actually ends perfectly. Like that is the way this comic should have ended. And yeah, we'll get to the movie later, but yeah, like, because this is typically how these stories go. I mean, every once in a while, well, I guess there are only 2 or 3 different outcomes, but it really felt like this outcome we got was the one that was coming. Like, the scene, and I don't remember what issue it is, but the guy's attacked by a monster, and I'm looking at the monster, and I'm like, no, that's not a monster.
Right.
Yeah. And from there, like, the end is pretty much written out. Like,
yeah. And I will say that there was a little bit of I know personally I was hoping for a little bit more closure. Like it wraps up everything, well not everything. It wraps up the story of Rich and his family pretty neatly. But I was kind of hoping to find out more so like, what the like bigger picture things that were going on, and I didn't get as much of that as I would have hoped, unfortunately. But at the same time, it's a choice, It's not like it didn't feel like it was like it didn't feel like it was haphazardly done. It felt like it was that's what was intended to be the case. And it happened to be one of those times where like a lot of time I don't have any open-endedness. But for me, I was like, oh man, I really wish I knew a little bit more about what was going on in this whole thing. But that's I guess a testament to how the story was crafted as well.
And interestingly enough, in the movie they do get more into Jebediah's motivations.
Right.
And if it felt like a sequel, like that would have been really cool because we get what he's doing in the comic, and then we would get why he's doing it in the movie.
Right.
And that would have been great.
It would have been.
It just doesn't feel like a sequel. It feels
no.
Like it feels like the movie was inspired by, as so many movies are, source material that they're disconnected from.
Which is wild though, because it's like the same guy that created it or that's credited for the creation of it in the comic is the director of the movie. So,
and they even changed the name of the town, right, for the movie?
I mean, Yeah.
They did?
Or I mean, I don't think they. Well, they don't. There's no. I think like the town that Mo's referring to doesn't get referenced in the comic. I don't believe.
Yeah, it does. It's something English. Like I don't remember off the town the top. But
New English.
Yeah, they mentioned New English in the comic.
Where?
I don't remember what exact page.
But I mean, that's where they live.
That's where Zendaya was.
That's
what like remember when he's talking to the old guy who's like reminiscing about the town where Jebediah went too far? And they mentioned the town is called New English.
Oh.
Which I would have forgotten, but it's they say it a lot in the movie.
Yeah, which is weird. I'm just like, what? I'm just like, I guess it's a made up town, right?
I would assume no town would call themselves New English.
Yeah. And I'm just like, but it's weird that they didn't put it anywhere. You know what I mean? Like, it felt like, I'm like, where is that? Especially considering how weird of a name it is. Like, it doesn't even sound like a name like that could be a town name.
It's in New Mexico.
Say where?
It's in New Mexico.
In New English, New Mexico. Makes sense. But I'm just like, where is this? But whatever. Like, I didn't even realize that they referenced it in the comic.
It's only right Milan, Illinois.
Illinois, Abattoir.
Illinois,
Abattoir. Okay, so let's go ahead and rate Abattoir, the comic. Jay, how many? I don't know. You're better at this than I am, Mo. How many what-ups out of 5s?
How many dads killing their kids?
Oh, sheesh, man. God.
You said like you want what I do or not?
I want what you do, Mo.
All right.
And it's like I'll take it even when I don't want it. Oh no, that came out wrong. I think I'm in trouble again.
Just like my Windows 10 update.
So I would give this 4 dads killing their kids out of 5. I like the story. I like the premise. Even though we don't get that much of the premise, we get an idea of what's happening, which I guess we're not mentioning right now for the comic review. But yeah, I like it. Like I like this whole premise, this whole idea, and I like the characters. And I thought the story was told really well. Not exactly like a Norris feel, but it's got a good mystery feel.
Mm-hmm. Moses Magnum, what would you give Abattoir number 1?
I would give it a 3 out of 5. It was I read it after watching the movie, and that kind of one of the things I didn't like about the movie was done here too, and it didn't play as well in the comic medium, and then that little bit of art issue.
Mm-hmm.
The story was there, and 3 out of 5 for sure. And I only read issue 1, so I think if I would have like delved into this main character's like story narrative, instead of having that whole thing about Jebediah Crone in my head, I probably would have enjoyed it better.
Mm-hmm.
Read the comic first. That way you can give it a 4 out of 5 instead of a 3 out of 3.5.
Yeah, I think I'd go ahead and give it a 4 as well. Which, you know, I mean, a 4 is a good score in general, but I do feel like it's, especially because this is not necessarily my cup of tea. Like, it's not the kind of book that I would necessarily, or that I would choose to read on my own, and for it to like pull me in, that's a pretty good job they did there with the story, and they made the characters interesting, and you know, like I was invested. So yeah, for or the other thing that happened that I was like, wow, that's messed up, is the dude like, right in issue 1 friggin' weed waxed that clown. I was like, man.
That was funny.
I was like, that's messed up, man. And that clown was not even a good clown, which is the messed up part too. Like I think he felt like, oh, he's doing this to me because I suck. Which is a bad way to die.
Well, he thought he did something. Like, I know the clown is like, I don't know what you think I did, but... And then he dies.
I love when they find the mask, the clown mask in the murder scene house. That drawing of that mask, like I think they put all the work in getting that mask done right. Because that shit look creepy. Like, Guy Crow saying, "Oh, hello," was like supposed to be like a jump scare, but that wasn't. that mask, I was like,
yeah.
And I like clowns.
So, let's go ahead and let's talk about Abattoir, the movie.
Okay, so we have a woman whose family is butchered, and she goes on a quest to find out why. She talks to the person that did it, and she doesn't really get too many answers. And she goes back to visit the house, and when she does, she finds out that the room where the murder happened is gone. And so that leads her to track down who took the room and to find out why they did it.
Yeah. That pretty much is the long and the short of it. So Oz, you get the chance to watch this? Oh, is Oz gone?
Yeah, he's gone.
Oh. Hopefully.
You can hear that trailer that's playing.
So, Mo, what did you think of Abattoir, the movie?
So one of the issues I had with, and it's part of the Darren Lynn Bousman, that guy, is his movies all feel like he's making one of these Not Scary Farm rides.
Yeah. I 100% got that.
And those, like, sometimes those can be great and sometimes they could be bad. For his Saw movies, like, I think it did okay, but the stuff he does other than Saw, it's never great. And this look from the trailer that you're seeing now, I was like, man, I can't wait to watch this to review. And then when I actually watched it, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And it just didn't hit the right points. The lead girl, like, she's way pretty, man. And that was distracting, like almost like the art was in the comic.
He said that was distracting.
Yeah, so it's
hilarious.
Like she's too pretty to like go through all these horrors. And I guess sometimes that like makes you feel like, oh no, please don't hurt her. But in this case, it's like, man, she's too pretty to be putting up with this bullshit. Like, her family would hate her. Like, she's married to some rich guy, like, not living in this new English town. Like, dealing with this douchebag detective. Like, she's too pretty for this. Like, she would have had a modeling contract or something. Like, she wouldn't be here. She's the girls that get on the bus and leave for LA at like 18. You know what I mean? She don't put up with that shit in their whole town. Like, if they would have wrote in the script that she came back and took a year sabbatical to figure out her sister's shit from her modeling contract from Ibiza, then I'd be like, all right. Like,
all right.
Yeah. But then she also dresses like a Pentecostal reformist Christian, like, and that's like odd too.
I was so confused at the beginning of this movie. Because, like you said, I was like looking and I was like, is this like, are we in the 60s or the, like, I'm like, what? I was like, what era is this movie taking place in? And then the detective showed up and I was like, is it the 30s? Like, what is, like, because he was literally in like a fedora and a trench coat and he had like the cigar and he was like all like bristly.
He looks like he doesn't say the N word like that. He says Negro. Like that's the parlance of the time. Like, that's what he looks like.
And as the movie went on, they got into like regular clothes. But in that first scene, I was just like, why are they dressed like this? Like, I'm like, because I was confused, and I didn't even realize the movie took place in the 2000s until like halfway through when they referenced like 2004.
Look,
and I was like, oh, okay.
I thought it was the 80s until like the old lady said, "Oh, no cellular, no cable." I'm like, "Oh shit, they're in modern times."
Yeah. Right.
Now, I knew what they were doing, so that didn't, like, it didn't come out of nowhere for me. Like, I knew that the movie was going for, like, a 50s noir feel, even though it was present time, so it's like, and I'm not saying they pulled it off or whether they did or didn't pull it off, but
yeah, no, I don't think they pulled it off at all. Like, except
I wasn't confused. Like, the clothing made sense.
Well, it made sense if you're trying to do a 50s noir feel. That clothing makes sense in that first scene, but after that, it's like we don't ever really go back to that.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you give up.
You're like, we tried our best.
You don't do it when while you're making your movie. You either make it's like, what if Scott Pilgrim decided to be, you know what? This absurdist surrealism doesn't work. Let's just do just regular ass modern day shit in the middle of Scott Pilgrim. It don't work.
Right. Yeah, but it's a wild thing. Like, I will say this. The people and how they like just move quietly through scenes is eerie as hell. Like when that started happening, and it was just like people just like walking behind folks, or walking like when the friggin' dad went out to take the trash, and the dude just kind of walked around the corner into the house. I was like, what the hell? Like, how did he? Like, it's so funny because I feel like, and you know, you all know me, like. I go through the world and do pretty much what I want, but I'm scared of everything. And when I go out to take the trash, I specifically like think that, like, because a lot of time I do take trash out at night, and I'm just like, someone could be out here. Like, someone could be around a corner. They could, like, it's dark. I'm always on my, like, exactly what happened in that movie is exactly what I think is going to happen to me every time I go out to take out the trash. and I always watch for it. And so I was just like, how is this guy not? How do you not see that guy? You know, where's your peripheral vision?
Larry, this is why we need to get Dr. Keith Aplow to talk to you.
It's just the suburbs. It's not like...
Right, but...
that makes it worse, not better.
But Larry's not in the suburbs. I'm concerned about Larry.
Like, the suburbs is why you don't worry as much about it.
Oh,
like,
I don't know anything about that.
As much, yeah.
I guess. I don't know, man.
Now, Larry, like, is there any, like, in this weird fantasy where somebody's, like, behind you taking the trash, is there never a fantasy of you, like, just, oh, he jumps at you and you just happen to, like, I don't know, get that piece of broken glass in your trash and just put it in his eye when he's trying to attack you? There's no that's not part of your fantasy?
I mean, no, none of it's a fantasy. Like, none of this is like stuff I want to happen.
You're afraid of going to take trash at night because there's something in your head that you're fantasizing.
Well, I'm not afraid to do it. I do it.
Right. But
it's just that it's a possibility that I consider every time I go out to take the trash.
When you consider,
and so I'm on guard for it. But I don't ever stab anybody. Like, I'm ready to defend myself, but not like I don't want to stab anyone with
you never just think of somebody just jumping out at you and you just happen to have a box cutter and you act defensively, but in it you just kind of slice his throat. Like, me neither.
I gotta interject a little bit because as somebody who has fallen prey to Lawrence's physical advances.
I don't know what that means. Like, that sounds like I like raped you or something, and I don't want to. I just want to go on the record and say I've never tried to rape Oz.
That's what the human resources guy.
don't know what you were trying to
Now
do to
you're
me,
sabotaging your stream.
but I can attest. I can attest to the fact that Lawrence has no defense skill whatsoever.
Wait a minute. How do you know? You ain't ever try to jump me?
So now,
No, you tried to jump me.
now,
Okay,
Larry,
so that's not defensive. You can say I have no offensive skills if you want. That's fine. Even though we were kind of drunk.
The best
That again
defense
sounds like I was trying to rape you. I was like, geez. You know what? This never happened. I'm gonna pull a Matt Gates. None of this ever happened. Like
Pizza
this is all the media, the liberal media, trying to smear my name.
Larry, now that you've read the comic for Abattoir and seen the movie for Abattoir, are you now, when you go take the trash, you're like, is Jebediah Crone gonna say hello to me? Like,
Listen, I'm what I'm looking out for. New Englishmen. That's what I'm looking out for. I'm just like these New English folks, and it's like they're not gonna mess around and sneak your boy. That's what I know, because I'm ready for them. I was ready before. I knew that they were out there, and now confirmed. I saw it on TV. I was like, oh, there they are. Goddamn. And I'm just sitting here like, the chick. There was a part in the movie where the chick is like looking through newspapers with her back to the door, and it's like 17 of them walk by. I'm like, God damn, like you don't hear that? You don't hear those little tiny footfalls? I hear it. I hear it.
But that's kind of what I say about it being like those not scary farm rides. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, sometimes, the Saw movies are that. That's essentially what the Saw movies are. They create an experience where you feel you're locked in there.
Mm-hmm.
And Dead Silence is another one. And they're all these type of Saw, this people that work on Saw movies,
Yeah.
And here it just doesn't come off as well. I don't know if it's the lighting or it's too bright. But one thing that does come off well, I think, is the dude that plays Jebediah Crone from the comic transition to the movie. I think that guy does a really good job. And he looks like him. And I've seen him in other things. And I don't think he's ever, maybe I don't even recognize him where he was in the other things I've seen. But where he's been, he was really good here.
Real quick,
Go ahead.
if I could derail this whole conversation for a second. Dead Silence with the mime, right? The ventriloquist doll?
Puppets, yeah.
Yeah, that ghost cheated. Like, when you tell the dude, like, he wasn't purposefully making a noise, he just was yelling because he got thrown off the banister. But I don't know, that feels like cheating to me.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're not reviewing that movie. I saw you.
I just want to bring it up. Like, he cheated.
Cheating ass
Well,
ghost.
how many puppet strings, hollowed out humans with puppet strings out of fly would you give Dead Silence?
I don't remember it well enough, but from what I do remember, I think it was like a 4. Like, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a great movie. Great movie. It does the cheesy thing too, where it feels like a Not Scary Farm ride too, but it's a weird thing where there's a weird line that you cross. Insidious did that too, and it's a weird cross, weird line that if you go over, it's like this doesn't work. And then,
I was gonna say, like, especially like the last 30 to 40 minutes of the movie, 100%. Like, I literally had the thought in my head, like, this is like this is basically like a monster maze now.
Yeah.
Like, like it's like it felt like a bad Not Scary Farm ride in the last half hour, and then something happens and you're like, okay, like now, like we're getting a little bit of resolution, I guess, or whatever. But in between that half an hour, I'm just like, I mean, like, even I think this is a little cheesy. And I'm like, that's not what I usually have. Say what?
Yeah, the effects were not good. And the style that they chose to do the ghost effects was not scary at all.
Yeah, it just blurs out everything. Like, it would have been scarier if they had, if you could see the people and they look see-through, which would have been corny too, but that would have been at least like a little bit more like, oh my god, I'm actually seeing what's happening, you know?
And Mo brought up Insidious, like they did it much better, where you can see everyone, and it just works better if you can see the people, because you know that what's going on is wrong.
Yeah.
And it just makes it creepier. There's a scene in the comic where the guy's talking to his dad.
Yeah.
And it feels wrong. Like, his dad should not be there. And his dad has a gun. And then, bam, like, it's a really chilling kind of moment.
Yeah.
And the movie failed to do that.
Yeah. I will say too, you know, I actually had the opposite experience you had, Mo, in regards to Jebediah Crone. I did not like the depiction in the movie at all. Like I felt like, and don't get me wrong, the guy is not a bad actor.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't feel like he was right for the part. Like I don't feel like he looked the part.
Now you read more issues than I did, though, right?
Well, yeah, but like the look is consistent throughout. Like you said, like when they draw him, he always looks like that. But you know, it's like I think a big part of it too was just like I felt like Jebediah Crone had like a particular profile, like he almost looked like almost like a cadaver. You know what I mean? Like a cadaver in a suit.
Right.
And you know that guy doesn't look like a cadaver. I mean, he's first of all he's healthy. So it's like
he looks,
you know, I mean, he's fat. Like, you know, like he definitely doesn't look like he emaciated. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't look like like Jebediah in the comic almost looks like a rotting or a corpse that's about to rot. You know, like it's not rotted yet, but it looks like a corpse that's about to rot. That guy, like, you know, like he just
the mom look closer to Jebediah than the guy does.
That's another thing too. She said, like,
yeah, she was good.
She made me give this movie 3 points.
Yeah, no, her performance was really good.
Like,
yeah,
when she tells the detective cut the man bullshit, like that. Yeah. I've never been so like empowering women, but also creeped out and scared and everything.
Yeah, no, she was very good. She was very good.
And I feel like you do, Lawrence. Like, I just didn't think the guy was that creepy.
No.
Like, and I watched the movie first before I read the comic.
Oh, okay.
And so, you know, you read the comic and he's like creepy as shit.
Yeah.
And here you don't get that. You get like he's sinister.
Yeah.
But he's not creeping me out.
And I didn't like I honestly, like, they definitely do enough that I'm like, if I saw the comic or I read the comic and, you know, I saw the trailer for the movie, I would know that was supposed to be Crone. But there's definitely like the design in the comic feels very particular, and that guy's design deviates from it in a lot of different ways that just doesn't make sense to me. Like even like his hair, I felt like the hair was very like iconic, and the hair they give him in the movie doesn't. It feels different, like because it's like longer and whatnot. Like I won't say the only. I'll say like I felt like the most he was like Jebediah was when he was giving the sermon. Like that felt like at that moment that he was channeling that character. But outside of that, it was just like, okay, like, you know, but it works, you know. It's not like it's I don't feel like he was I think he was one of the better parts of the movie still, but I just don't feel like he did the character justice. So yeah, I was disappointed in that regard. But the whole like the character is trying to do something completely different in this movie, than what we've read in the comic. It feels like to me. I don't know. Is that the sense you get too, Jay?
No, I feel like it could be the same purpose. Like
It could be
mentioned. Like I said, they don't really. They tell you what he's doing and not why. And the movie kind of tells you why he's doing it. So that I kind of get.
But what he does in the movie and what he does in the comic are technically different, right? I mean, he buys the houses, but what he does with them, or not buys the houses. I'm saying like he like, or I guess I should say that, you know, in the comic he was trying to buy the houses. In the comic he was trying to buy the house, right? And in the movie, he wasn't. I mean, he still bought the houses, but what he did to those houses, we don't know that he was doing that in the comic, right? Or we just assume.
No, they say that in the comic what he was doing with the houses before he resold them. And they say the same thing, and they say what he's doing. That's what he's doing in the movie.
Oh, you know what? You're right, because they do say he took the driveway, huh?
Right.
That's so weird.
And it doesn't look good. Like, it doesn't look like he actually took the room, but they do say that that's what happened.
Okay. And so the why, and you know, I mean, I don't know. I don't like. I feel like the why that's all happening. I think I get it, but it does feel like a bit of a roundabout like way that we actually get to those motivations and even like, you know, I don't know. I mean, I don't understand necessarily what it was that he was promising these people in this town.
For the movie, I'm not sure. I think he just said the town would be successful. And so they were like, well, if our town's successful, let's go kill our children. But in the comic, they say it's more him preaching a lifestyle.
Yeah.
And they were willing to kill for the lifestyle that he preaches.
Wow. What did you think of wait, Oz, you didn't get to watch this movie either, huh? It's okay. It's okay. Mo Mo, what did you think basically in regards to like how things resolve in this movie for you?
I had no idea. Like I was like, what the fuck's going on?
That's fair.
Like I don't know, you know. Now, granted, I did watch this movie at work. I had a weird week within trying to get this Falcon and Winter Soldier series that we have that'll be up this week later. Just hit like, subscribe, and hit that bell because that's how you're gonna find out when it comes out. But that's like between all that, like trying to get everything done for pre-production, it just took a lot of time. There's the challenge in doing a weekly show that's topical that has a 4-day lifespan.
Right.
You know.
Right.
So I did end up watching this at work, and I was like, did they actually like tease that she was a mom? Is that like a thing that happened in the movie? And I missed it.
Tease that who was the mom?
The old lady?
I just knew she was because, of course, she was.
Right. That's not. Yeah. That's how you know it's a bad movie.
Oh, go ahead.
If that's how you know that she's the mom, and then when that twist comes, like that's the making of a bad movie.
Yeah, but that's Jay's superpower. He can see a woman and know she has kids.
It's not my superpower that it's absolutely not.
You know she will when he's done with it. They don't call him the rabbit wolf for nothing.
It's true.
He fucks like a rabbit, then eats like a wolf.
Whoa. Jeez.
Wow.
Wow.
Kind of like it though.
Oh.
I thought that's why you did it. That's what I've been telling people. Now you gotta meet my friend Jay, man. They call him the rabbit wolf because he fucks like a rabbit and eats like a wolf.
Now you know why you're on that list, Jay. So, no,
But yeah,
I mean, they actually do say that's her mom at a certain point.
Where?
Minute 57.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. Like it's
Like, does she know that it's possibly her mom?
No, she doesn't know until later. Like she finds out later that it was her mom, and that's when she does the whole "she lied to me" thing, and then she goes to confront Jebediah in the house. Which that's one part of his that I did like, where he'll like meet people at the door and give them a speech about, well, you know, it'd be easier for you and a lot better if you just walked away, or you can enter my house of your own free will.
And I'm just like, I don't understand why anybody walks in there. Like, why
I
would
would have left. Like,
I like,
mystery be damned. Like, if you're saying that, like, that's not. Normal people don't say that. That's
or
not
just
invite someone into your house.
At least come back with backup or something. Like we can call like police in a neighboring town, and we can all come back and see whatever we want to see in that house, right? Like, you know, we can get warrants and everything. Maybe she can't go in with them because she's not a police officer, but you know, the boyfriend. You know, I don't know, man. It's a wild thing. It's a wild thing. I'm trying to figure out where did she get her birth certificate from?
That I do not remember.
Because that joint sure just pops up. I was just like, I mean, it sounded like her and her sister don't know where her mom is. They don't know. It sounded like they were like abandoned. And then all of a sudden she just like, I have a birth certificate and I'm from New English. And I'm like, first of all, if we can stop saying New English, that's number one. Because I was just like, I don't understand who decided that makes sense as a name.
And here's the thing: the mom wanted her to leave, but then she sacrifices her. Right? Is that what happened?
I don't think the way that they say it is the dad took them. I think.
No. But she says, "Get out of here." Like when they meet.
Well, everybody in the town tells her to get out of here.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It might be reverse psychology. They're like, if we tell her to go, she'll stay because she's done.
Yeah. Like, I don't know if it's time to rate this, but I think I'm done talking about this.
Listen, I was baffled by the first of all, I didn't understand. Like she was like, oh, I'm just on my way to New English, and I'm like, well, where is she now? Like when the cop stops her, I'm like, where is she now? Like, is this not New English? First of all, if we could just stop saying New English, that's number 2, 1 and 2, because I'm just like, what? I didn't even understand it, and I'm like, why can't they tell us where this town is? Like, or just give us some kind of sense. Like, is it California? Is it Iowa? Is it Connecticut? Like, where is it?
Now, before we rate this, we do have to ask Mary Young the standard questions. As like, how scary was this? How hard was this for you to watch, if at all?
I mean, it was. Well, again, these things don't have to be scary. My imagination scares me enough by itself. Like, what I think is going to happen is always worse than what actually happens.
Yeah, like the guy hits himself while he's taking out the trash, for God's sake.
I'm just aware of the danger. And I got it confirmed by this movie. People will come into your house while you take out the trash and kill your whole family. You saw it happen because they have soft footsteps, and that was what scared me the most: the soft
That's
footsteps.
because they're not going to people's houses and what?
Well, first of all, it's like, look, we all know that a lot of inner city homes aren't big enough for someone to sneak around the house in anyway. It's like, it's like you're either there or you're not there. You know what I'm saying? It's like you walk. Look, I know the house I grew up in. It's like you walk in one door and I can see you.
We're also believers in the Second Amendment.
That's why drive-bys were invented, because you can't sneak up on somebody in the inner city.
Nah, I think that's just lazy killing. I think that's all it is. They're just like, hey man, don't even stop.
So how scared were you, Larry? Did you shit yourself 2 or 3 times?
I was pretty scared at first. Like when it was soft stepping folks, that was creeping me out. But by the time we got to like Funhouse stuff, I was like, oh, I'm good. So like I'll say I was pretty tense through like maybe the first for the first half of it. So I guess like the first 45 50 minutes, and then the second part of it, I was just like, I'm good. Because it's like,
okay, so he was holding it in, and then once he crapped himself, he felt better.
So this movie has a bunch of lazy, low tension jump scares throughout the movie.
Yeah.
How annoying were those for you?
I mean, ridiculously annoying, because it's like they're not even scary. It's like I don't want to be scared, mind you, but I know I'm supposed to be, and so I'm disappointed. And it turns out that I think I'd rather be scared than disappointed.
It's like
I didn't know that there was a feeling I wanted to feel more or less than fear, and I think just that kind of disappointment I was just like, oh.
It's like when you get that feeling you'd rather be beaten to death than bored to death.
Well, actually, listen, I'm not sure that I've ever actually been bored. It's like very seldom. I have a very active imagination, so I don't know. That may not work for me. But at the same time, too, I say that now because you're asking me about this experience. But then when you try to make me watch something else that's scarier than this, I'll probably be like, man, I wish I could be watching Abattoir. so because I don't like to be scared. But it took me it took me half of the movie to realize I don't need to be scared anymore, and then the second half I wasn't.
Okay.
If they had kept doing that soft shoeing stuff, I probably would be terrified through the whole thing, because that's the kind of stuff that random silhouettes of people walking behind folks and they don't notice, and I'm like, oh, I don't know what they're gonna do. It's like that's nightmare fuel for me. Because I'm just like, damn it, these fools are just in the house. I don't know if they're just rearranging sock drawers or stabbing children or friggin' I don't know what they're doing. But either way, it's no good. That's all I know. It's like the best around, going in your medicine cabinet, switching all the pills around. It's not fun.
Okay, so I think we can rate this now.
Yeah. What about you, Mo? What do you want to rate Abattoir, the movie?
Abattoir, I would rate the movie. I would rate 3 out of 5, and Lynn Shay's portrayal of that old lady drinking whiskey and cleaning it off her mouth gives it those 3 points. Without her, this movie would have been a 0 for me.
Dang! Wow.
That
was only the only good line too. We're like, how you like your whiskey in a glass?
Yeah.
Or from that character. I mean, all the rest of the time, I was just like, eh.
No, but the thing is, she adds the tension. You don't need jump scares when she's on the screen. The whole shit's creepy and scary.
Oh yeah. You mean
if the movie was just her confronting that lady, a short film that just creates an eerie experience for me in the theater where I'm just uneasy, in a
Yeah.
well lit room with a lady and an old lady drinking whiskey. Like that's fucking amazing horror storytelling. But
Yeah,
that's not the whole movie.
it's true. What about you, Jay? What would you rate Abattoir, the movie?
I would give it a 2. Mostly, I just like the concept of taking. Are we spoiling it? I don't know.
Yeah, spoiler. It's been out for what, 20 years? 10 years?
You're hilarious.
3? Yeah.
That's more than 3, isn't it?
It came out in 2017.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe 2016.
I think it's 16. That would put it at 4.5 or 5.
Yeah. It's 2021.
Yeah, but basically taking parts of murder houses and putting them together like a puzzle. Like, that is an interesting concept, which I really like. Otherwise, the acting was, the effects were, the lazy ass jump scares were, yeah, like, if it weren't for the concept, this whole movie would be a 0.
There you go.
I just wish they had pulled it off. But
Yeah. No, there's definitely something there. Even though I will say it seemed like it does not feel like somebody that read or wrote or created that comic wanted to make this movie. Or maybe or I guess I'd say it doesn't feel like they're the same property to me in a lot of ways. It has the Crone character, so it is. But if you took him out and put somebody else in, this could be a movie called something else completely, and I wouldn't be like, "Oh, this reminds me of Abattoir."
They can pop the slaughterhouse and be like,
yeah, absolutely. Like honestly, like it would. Like there's no part of it that feels like the comic to me, other than that character.
And you would think, like, because it's the comics created by the same guy that wrote and directed the movie, like that should be an easy, thing. Like, I know adapting things could be hard. I know I've been hard on people that do it, and now that I'm in the business of adapting things, I can see their struggles. But if you make 2 things for 2 mediums, like, you can make them connect, even if it's not a direct thing.
Well, it's interesting because it's one of these things where it's like, I mean, I just noted that it said that the director, it said in the comic, it said this was created by the director.
Right.
And then there's another person who gets credit for the concept. And then there's 2 writers that are different people too. So the creator, the concept, and the writers are all different people. So in my mind, I was just like, okay, now we have the person that this was created by doing the movie. I'm not certain that the concept person gets credit. I would have to double check the movie credits, but it very well could be a thing where they're just like, maybe he created the Crone character, but didn't want to use that concept, and either wanted to cut that guy out or didn't want to give him any credit. I don't know, but it's like it very well could be a thing, something like that. And obviously, it wasn't written by the same people that wrote the comic either. So. Yeah, it's an interesting thing. I would have. The concepts in both are interesting, but they're definitely pulled off better in the concept that they choose to go with in the comic gets pulled off or executed better in the comic than this interesting concept in this movie gets executed. Because, yeah, I'll give it a 2.5, but. Yeah, overall, it's just like, it doesn't do it for me.
Yeah. Unfortunate.
Yeah. Even though, like, you hit the nail on the head, though, Mo. Like, that woman's performance as the character Allie, yeah, she was amazing.
Yeah, if that was the short film, like, it'd be 5 out of 5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say anything else on Abattoir before we change gears? All right. Well, let's do a Mo deal real quick, and then when we come back, we'll go ahead and get into Project Patron. That works for everybody.
Here comes the money.
Here we go.
More money, more money, more money, more money.
Moses Magnum here, bringing you another Mo deal. I just stopped cutting some hair to bring you some savings. Here it is. We've been reviewing Invincible in the last couple weeks here on Fantastic Forum, and it's a hit. We love the show. But now, thanks to Comixology, anything that Robert Kirkman, creator of Invincible, along with Walking Dead, Outcast, Astonishing Wolfman, a bunch of other comics, anything by Robert Kirkman is 50% off. So you can get all the stuff you like that he does, or think you can discover new things without investing a bunch of cash into it. And on top of that, Comixology offers a subscription streaming service of sorts called Comixology Unlimited. It's $7 a month, I think, some more or less. But I'm gonna give you a trial. Just click the link in the description, and you'll get a trial, and then you can read anything Invincible for free. You got 7 days to finish it all, and you can just catch up on the whole series before the TV series even ends. But that's not it. I got another Mo deal for you. Humble Bundle has teamed up with IDW. For $1, you can get 6 different comic series involving the Dungeons and Dragons universe, published by IDW. Now, what Humble Bundle does is it gives the money to a good cause. So it's a $1 tier for those books, which is yeah, they gotta read it. I didn't do no pre-production. Bear with me. The $1 tier includes Dragonlance Chronicles Volume 1, Dragons of Autumn Twilight, Dragonlance Classics Volume 1, Dungeons and Dragons at the Spine of the World number 1, Dungeons and Dragons Infernal Tides number 1, Forgotten Realms Classics Volume 1. You get all that for $1. At the $10, you get the issue 2 of those, along with a couple, I think 2 more series in addition to that. At the $25 tier, you just get everything. And, you can give more. Since you are saving a good chunk of money, you can give more because it is going to the Hasbro Children's Fund. And Hasbro Children's Fund, they're the ones that handle all the grants and stuff that Hasbro gives for kids to either get tuition, children's hospitals, literacy programs, and things like that. So it's a good cause. You can actually save some money and give some towards a good cause, which is always important. It's not just about saving it and keeping it. So as always, I'm Moses Magnum here with a Mo deal for you, reminding you to make that money, save that money, and then put some of it to a good cause. I'm Moses Magnum. This has been a Mo deal. See you next time.
Good job, Mo.
Wow, it's been a while since I've seen Dragonlance stuff out there.
Yeah, that's kind of the cool thing about it, where they're giving you a lot of old shit that you can't find anymore. Like, I used to read a lot of, yeah. Well, in this particular bundle, it's stuff that the classics, the Chronicles, is all the stuff that was like on top for other publishers. They reprinted them and they're giving them to you here. So I used to read those when I was a kid, and now it's like, I'm gonna get them again. And
Yeah,
money to
I definitely recommend people check out anything Dragonlance, but especially the original trilogy, which I think was Autumn, Fall, and Winter. I forget the full titles, but it's like Dragons of Spring Dawning or something like that. But it's basically it's all seasonal: Autumn, Fall, and Winter, or actually Autumn, Winter,
or summer.
Spring. No, I think summer was the beginning of the second trilogy.
That's fair. So that you got it.
I was in high school when I read these books.
Mm-hmm.
So and they haven't been out for years. Like I thought people forgot all about Dragonlance. So yeah,
well, not us at IDW.
Pick it up, man. It's good stories.
Did you ever watch the animated movie?
No, it's crap.
heard part of that.
The part that you didn't like, or the part that
I heard it was crap, so I actually got a chance to watch the movie.
I gotta get Osmo deal on some internet.
I think he said he heard it was crap, so he didn't watch the movie. You want to nod for us? What you said? Oz? Is that what you said? Yes. All right. Yeah.
Wow, no latency.
I know, right? Exactly.
It's not. It's not the price of the internet that's the problem. Is the infrastructure.
Right there, it is. All right. So you all ready to get into Project Patron?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Do we need to play another review music thing, or are we good?
I mean, technically we do because it's not a horror comic.
Let's do it.
Review.
Like
review.
Well, not like that, but like.
Okay. So, Mo, you want to talk about this book, or you want me to do it?
Go ahead, man. I talked about the other stuff.
Right. Okay. Project Patron is basically yet another comic that kind of has its own take on the Superman mythos. This book takes a twist on the death of Superman. Basically, this Superman-esque hero is trying to fight this big bad, and they end up killing each other, much like how Superman and Doomsday ended up, pretty much killing each other. And then 3 days later, or maybe it says a few days later. I don't remember if it was 3 or not, but a few days later, the hero, who's called the Patron, or called Patron, bursts from the ground and goes back to superheroing. And the public basically loves this hero, or has been in love with this hero even more so ever since he saved the city, sacrificed himself, and came back to life to keep fighting the good fight. But what the public doesn't know is that this hero Patron is not the actual hero that they think he is, because he actually did die that day, and the U.S. government has created did they call it a Reploid?
Yeah.
A Reploid, like an artificial version of this hero, and that is actually piloted by other regular people, and each of these people represents a different aspect or virtue of this hero, whether it be his tech savvy, like his smarts, or his strength, or his compassion, his leadership ability. So each pilot kind of brings something different to the table, and depending on what's needed, they send a different person to virtually pilot this basically superhero android thing. And that's what the book is about. It's about this team of people that pilots this superhero and the secret that they have to keep.
And one of them is a spy for the UN.
And one of them is a spy for the UN. Dun dun dun. So, gents, what did you all think of Project Patron? Anyone wants to? Yeah.
It starts off pretty cool with the colors being more pulpy, which was kind of cool for the flashback. And then that stops. And, then it kind of just does its thing. It's basically almost an issue 0, where the main focus of this is to introduce the characters and say what they're good at. And you do kind of get a decent idea of all these characters. And yeah, that's That's what I took away from it.
Joe's like very standard fare.
I kind of like I started to call it standard fare until I started seeing kind of the deconstruction of like how you would bring this hero back for the greater good, and even my views on Jesus, where it's like he's a figurehead and a mascot, not an actual person that rose from the dead, and this kind of echoes that, and it from a superhero perspective. And it's like you can't let the people know he's dead because you stand a lot to lose in terms of hope and their safety and security. You need them to keep feeding this machine we call society by lying to them, you know. Otherwise, they're just going to give up. And I don't know how much of that they're going to get into here, but it seems like that's the motivation of why they're doing what they're doing. And like Joe said, the Zero thing, that kind of makes me want to read more of this because I want to see like where like more of not the espionage stuff. I know that's going to play into it, but what does the impact of society? Because I know it's not going to stay a secret for the series. Like if it's a series of how they're all just keeping the secret, it's going to be pretty dull to me. You know, so I kind of want. I can't wait till the cat's out of the bag. Yeah, and I hope they don't maybe wait till like it'll probably be issue 6 of this arc, and then they'll take a break, and then be like Saga, where a COVID year happened, and then nothing came out for like 2 years.
Like I feel like Saga was doing that long before COVID.
No, but they were doing 6-month breaks, but they've been on a break for like 3 years now.
Yeah,
like I caught up twice.
Yeah. Oz, did you get to read this?
No.
That's unfortunate, Oz. I think you might like this book.
He's been busy.
He's been busy. Like, right.
It's our fault.
I believe it. I'll take the blame.
We can't bust his balls too much this week for not doing anything in pre-production.
No,
I would tell him to just stop being on the show and finish editing, so we could have this shit.
So, yeah, I will say, like, I really liked this book. At the same time, though, I feel like it's kind of like right up my alley in a lot of ways. Like, you know, like in like when I read it and actually like realized what the concept was, I was kind of like, this feels like an idea I should have had. You know, like it feels like an idea I should have had. Like not, and you know, I don't know that it would have turned out as good as this did. Maybe, but probably not. But I enjoyed it. Like I thought, you know, and don't get me wrong, it's like I read it and like I think what Joe said is true in the sense that it does kind of feel like a Zero issue kind of, but at the same time I love Zero issues. And so it's like, you know, I like being kind of eased into a different set of characters and whatnot. And or I guess what I'll say is, you know, I can appreciate something doing something and being innovative, but I can also appreciate something doing something standard but executing it well. And I feel like that's what this was. This was something that was like, you know, it didn't take pretty much any chances. It introduced you to a concept. It showed you what like the core conceit was. It gave you all the main characters. It gave you a cliffhanger, and then it got out, and it was just like, hopefully it'll come back for the second issue. And you know, I know for me, I will. I didn't even know this book was a thing until you said we should read it. So I was like, oh, like I like this. Like I want more of this, like right now.
Who said it?
It was you, right, Mo?
Yeah.
You.
Just making sure I get the credit. I didn't create anything, but I still want the credit for making sure we talk shit about it.
What do you all think of the art and the art style?
I like the pulpy art.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
Yeah, it's interesting. It has like a bit of a sketchy kind of thing going on, like a literally like a sketch type style to the artwork. I mean, not like there's anything wrong with it. Like, but I could understand, like it's wild to think that it did have like a pulpy style for like the Death of Superman-ish kind of stuff, and it was wild just because as somebody where I was looking at it like, oh, that's interesting. Like, I know it's a flashback, but they went back to like 50s kind of style, and I'm like, why do they go so far back? But if you're like of a certain age, I'm sure that like the 90s feels like the 50s to you, right? It's like, yeah, but make it look as old as you can. And he's like, so, which it might not even be print. I mean, it might not even be pulpy. It might be like just regular like comic newsprint style. You know what I mean? Like what our books were actually printed on back then. So, what do you think of the art, Mo?
I enjoyed it. It is that Italian style, like that like Black Science.
Yeah,
like it's like that, and that's kind of. I think that's the go-to now, where you get these themes that you've seen in other mediums or in other comics, and you subvert them and deconstruct them, so you get this type of art to do that. Like your what is it? Irredeemable. Like it feels like irredeemable in a sense, in the way the art complements the story you're doing. So I was okay with it, even with the change between the pulpy or classic style to the new style. But I also like the character design, primarily the big brawler guy. Like I don't know if they did it on purpose, but I feel like they made him look like Eddie Hall. And Eddie Hall is this dude that he was like a power lifter. He was like one of these big, just beer drinking, just power lifter, like lifting 1,700 pounds in a squat type of guy. And that's what this guy looked like. But then Eddie Hall now changed his body to be more athletic and more of a boxer, even though he's all real buff. And that's exactly what he looks exactly like that guy. So I don't know if they used him as an influence, but it is kind of cool, like that mixture of musculature and athleticism, like taken into account. And even when they compare the main guy that pilots Patron, when he talks, is it Crone too? Like, is it Cone or Crone? But he
it is something like that, isn't it?
And there he is. He looks just like Eddie Hall. I wish I would have like done pre-production to have like a picture of Eddie Hall, especially like the current one. But like he's like a different version of that guy, where he can be the brawler and more well-rounded as maybe a fighter, because he's more flexible. He's got less bulk, and that's kind of cool. And then they're both with their muscles in the shower together like that.
Yeah, what was that all about?
It was odd to look at, but it was like that's how dudes are at the gyms. Like
are they?
Yeah.
I'm not.
Oz went to the gym with me. He knows.
I'm not like athletic like that, so I've never,
I mean, you don't watch sports, Larry, but you watch football. They're grabbing each other's asses. I mean,
I don't even really watch football.
No, I know you don't, but that's a thing. Like it's all homoeroticism. Like you're showing appreciation for your fellow masculine energy.
And
masculine energy.
Like, let me put it like this: I don't think that, like, I went to high school, and they had like showers or whatever, and so I know that guys have conversations in the shower. Yeah. I guess my whole thing was like the setup of the shower was so weird because it was like circular, and so these two dudes were like basically like facing each other, like damn near looking into each other's eyes.
That's how they're having this at my high school.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was like, even so, I'm not sitting here like
using them.
I was like, in the shower they were in, there are two of those things. Like literally, one person could have been at one, and one could have been at the other. And even if they wanted to look at each other, they could have looked at each other from across the way as they shower. but they decided to like, you know, basically like I said, like stand like nose to nose to have this intimate ass conversation while they're both naked and wet, and I'm just like, is this like?
I've seen dudes have push-up competitions in the shower.
Really?
And not just competitions, but like they'll do push-ups where there's a guy in front and he puts his feet on the shoulders of the guy behind him, and there's like 4 dudes in a chain like that trying to do push-ups simultaneously
while they're naked in the shower.
Yeah, in the shower. That's one of those times when you walk in with your towel, you're like, you know, I'm just gonna wait.
I'm just gonna wait. This ain't my kind of party, Jack.
I'm not that sweaty. I can wait an hour or 2.
Hey, I mean, you know, and I don't know. I mean, it just seems like it seems strange to me, but again, I just might not be. I'm definitely not a part of that like sports, like athletic culture. So I don't. You know, I'm sure I just don't know.
And that's dudes dry humping each other.
I mean, they're not dry humping each other. They're trying to. They're wrestling. That's different.
Yeah, that's different. Yeah.
I mean, at the very least, their private parts are clothed. I mean, I feel like that's a big difference.
Hey, you never heard of dry humping?
I've heard of it. I just saying that that's not what's happening.
Yeah,
But-
that's what you say. It's like it's all fun and games till somebody comes. I mean, poke
I
your eye
guess
out.
you're right. I guess you're right.
I posted a picture of Eddie Hall here. I don't know if you can share.
Yeah, that fool does look like him.
Yeah.
Hey man, look at these fools trying to advertise on our joint.
Yeah.
Get out of here, popcorners. Get out of here. We're trying to look at Eddie Hall.
That's not even a real potato chip. Motherfucker called corners.
Popcorners.
That's some ghetto chips right there.
I was like, wait a minute. Is it the chip? Is it popcorn? They're like, it's both. Popcorners. I was like, I want some.
That's the stuff your mom brings home when you ask for Doritos.
Right.
It's like we got Doritos at home, and that's the Doritos at home.
Oh, dude. So
But yeah,
okay.
I really enjoyed this book. I thought I was going to enjoy it a lot more than I did.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still a good book. Like it does have that 0 issue feel, which I'm not a huge fan of. I'm like, just get to the story. Yeah.
Right.
But you know, it's definitely, I don't know, for someone like me, it would probably be, you know, get the trade paperback. You know,
I got you.
But
the cliffhanger is a decent cliffhanger.
yeah, it is. Yeah, no, it's good.
But I do feel where you're coming from in the sense like it just feels like it's the introduction as opposed to, you know, the actual like, okay, this book is taking us on a narrative. The story starts on the last page.
Right. You know what? It could also be, I mean, look, Oz brought up a good point in his last unboxing where, you know, this is the stuff that some of the stuff we're getting now is stuff that we probably could have been getting last year, but how 2020 turned out, like stuff's getting shifted around, and you know, it maybe last year was going to be an issue 0, this year is an issue 1 because they're like, fuck it, let's just, you know, let's just add
Right.
it probably was going to be like the free comic book day issue.
Yeah, you might be right. You might be right.
Or something like that, or something they give out at Comic-Con, and they're like, you know what, we'll make it issue 1.
Right.
I don't know if that's the case, but it would. But either still, it's a good place to start either way.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I
if I would have read like, you know how Image used to do, like they'll give you issue 1 and 2, like, and then on 3rd month you'll get 2 books, 3 and 0.
Mm-hmm.
Like then it'd be cool because you're still invested in the arc and you get a little extra from before.
Right.
Like it would have been tight, but we're starting here.
Right. Okay. So what would you rate Project Patron, Moses?
I would give it a 4 out of 5, man. I really like the art. I love the cover, man. Tony Harris.
Yeah,
like,
it is a nice
he's
cover.
Talented ass dude, and I'm not gonna say I was disappointed when I opened it and it didn't look like that inside. But when you look at the cover, and the cover is so striking that it's like that's it. That's that character. It makes it iconic, and that's what it's going to be like inside. Like it really misleads you, only because of how awesome it is. And it's not a disappointment, but it's like, oh wait, like this is how I see this character now. Like this is how will always see him. And then when you look at the art inside, and it doesn't quite match that, it's a little jarring. Yeah. And but the story does what it does, and where by page 15 you're like already invested in this dude Ignacio Moro or whatever his name is, like espionage.
Jay, what would you rate Project Patron?
I would probably rate it a 3. Yeah. Like it kind of hit middle of the road for me.
Yeah,
I do like the characters, especially Woe. I liked him a lot.
Who?
Woe?
The Doomsday analog.
Oh, whoa! Got you. Yeah.
If they actually called him the Doomsday analog, it would have been like it would have been a cool name that like sticks with you.
I like Woe too, but I thought for some reason he was saying like a name of the crew, and I'm just like, which person was that? Like I thought he was saying their last name, but it was interesting, the idea that they were like, Woe is what killed the dinosaurs, like he was the comet that basically hit the Earth, and like he literally slaughtered the dinosaurs himself, like with his bare hands. I'm like, oh sheesh, like that is wild. That's an interesting take. That's an interesting take.
Right.
Yeah.
And I liked it. Kind of reminded me of Putana too, so that's cool.
Yeah. I can see that. So 3, I'd give it a 4. I liked it, and I'm interested to see where it goes. I'm definitely going to pick up the next issue. But yeah, it's a cool concept. I like the whole team aspect. I like the little bit of espionage and like, I guess kind of international Cloak and Dagger-esque kind of thing that's going on, and then also just it's a conspiracy theory. Like I like it. So I honestly, Mo, I think it's gonna go on longer than you might like, as far as like the secret trying to be kept. Like I feel like a big part of the book will be them trying to figure out different ways to keep that secret. Like I feel like once that gets exposed, it becomes a different book. And maybe that's for the best. I don't know. Like I'm not mad at it, but I would be shocked.
They execute it.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'd be shocked to find out that it happens like early. I feel like that would be like something like down the line that happens, and in the meantime, you're telling stories about like, close calls, like and what the team has to do to make sure the secret gets kept. You know what I mean? So, but we'll see. Like I think all that will be interesting. Like I'm ready to find out where it's gonna go. So, all right, gents, it's about that time. Anybody got anything quick they want to say before we head out of here? Any like, yeah, like I guess we could just go to final thoughts. That makes sense.
Well, you said it's that time. I thought that was the code.
No. It is code. It is the code. You did it right. You did it right. Oz, any final thoughts, buddy?
If you're gonna watch any episode of Black Lightning, I recommend the last one, because it focuses on Painkiller, and that dude should have been Blade. With all due respect to Mahershala Ali, this kid I think would have made a way better Blade than that old guy.
But that's where you fucked up. You said kid.
Wait, it's so funny because when I look at you all, like you literally are in opposite boxes, and the way that Oz is looking, the direction, it looks like he's looking at you for real. And I know he can't see you, but it looked like he was looking at you like I was like, oh shit, they about to fight. Look like he about to reach across the table and smack you. Jay, give me some final thoughts.
Hit me, Oz. Hit me.
So season 1 of Creep Show is on Amazon Prime now. It's pretty good. Paul Dini wrote an episode. And it's worth checking out. Like, it's actually really good, really fun.
Does Paul Dini do creepy well?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Moses Magnum, final thoughts, buddy.
I was gonna say something about the current social political landscape that we're living in, where Larry's like, nah, man, don't say that shit. And but really, like, since we're on Paul Dini, like, his series Ewoks is on Disney Plus too. Like, he wrote the Ewok series, so you should watch that too.
That's fair. For the entire Fantastic Forum, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We do appreciate you. Please continue to like the videos, subscribe, and comment. Let us know what you think about stuff. That would really help us out a lot. And yeah, let us know what it is you want to hear. We're Fantastic Forum. We'll be back next week.